Hello, 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 hello. It is Hershey Me, your girl, Miss Jennifer Pink, and I wanted to talk about dating as a single mom. So before we get deep into the conversation, let me just back up a little bit and let me introduce myself to those of you who do not know who I am. I am Miss Jennifer Pink, known affectionately as the Single Mom Sage. I am your transformational mommy growth coach because I help mommies reconnect with themselves, with who they are, and grow through their ish. Why? Because we are more than just their mommy and we deserve to thrive. Yes, yes, yes. So I was a single mom. I know. Shock, right? I was a single mom of three, 1, 2, 3 babies, and I had 1, 2, 3 baby daddies. So when I tell you I've been there, I've done that, I've seen it all, I've lived through it all, I'm not just talking. Like, I'm serious. Like, been there, done that, seen it all, lived through it all. I've had 3 completely different situations. I had the baby when I guess I was kind of young. I had the baby where I got married and clearly we got divorced. And then I had the baby where he decided he wasn't the daddy. So I really have been through it all. And I went through this whole emotional morphosis, so to speak, where I really thought like I could never find love again. I can't date. I'll never find a man that loves me. Who's going to accept me and my babies? How do I trust again? Like, I trusted this dude, that dude, this dude, and a couple of others, and look at where that got me. So I get it. Like, I get it. Like, and I'm prompted to do this live because I'm in a lot of groups. I'm on Facebook. And I've seen so many posts of single moms saying, how do you date? And I'm like, what do you mean, how do you date? It's the same way you dated before. And they're like, no, it's not. It's different. So I thought, let's have a little conversation. And I love talking with you guys. So if you have questions, comments, post them in the chat. And let's have this conversation, y'all. Like, let's get real about some things. So the number one thing I say is you have to go outside. Like, I find it interesting that there's so many single moms and they're like, how do we date? And yet you do not go outside. I don't know how you plan to meet anyone. Yes, I met my husband via Facebook, but I was still going outside. You still have to go outside. Like, even if you're online dating, you have to go outside. Like, you have to come from behind the keyboard, behind the phone, behind your Twitter fingers, if you're really going to find anybody. Like, if you're going to find friends, if you're going to find a boyfriend. And my girl Kia is saying guilty, and we've had this conversation, so she already know. Like, you've got to go outside and stop making excuses. Right? Because I hear us say so many times like, oh, I don't have a babysitter. I don't even know how, like, I can't afford a babysitter. Ladies, can we just like keep it 100% real? When we want to do something, we find a way to do it. We will find a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. Women are the most resourceful creatures on this planet. The number one thing I always tell my single mom clients is build your own village. Like, that the movie Single Moms Club, there's no reason why that can't be real life, right? When I first came to Georgia, that was my real life. Like, I had one friend, and she was a single mom, and we traded off. If I had to watch the kids and take them to school or pick them up for school for her, like, we can be each other's helpers. We can be each other's villages. Like, your village does not have to be your mama, your daddy, your cousin, the baby's daddy. Like, it don't have to be that. It can be whatever you make it. You're in these groups online, these mom groups. I have a couple. Build a village. Like, connect with one another and support one another. There's no reason why you can't help each other. Like, okay, boo, I want to go out this weekend. I think I met this dude. I want to see what happens. Okay, she watches this weekend, and then next weekend you watch. It's a village. It's a give and take. Help each other out. Like, there's no reason why you can't do it. I'm just going to dispel all the BS I want to call that I hear. You don't have money. Didn't nobody tell you to go to a 5-star restaurant for a date? Go to the park. Kid says she'll babysit. That's because she don't want to go outside. So I'm gonna need some of y'all to babysit for Kid too. But anyway, set up a date at the park. It does not have to cost $100 to go on a date. It does not have to cost you $100 for self-care, but that's a whole nother topic that we will have another day, right? You've got to do what you want to do. And I hear people all the time say like, oh, I can't invest in life coaching. I can't invest in business coaching. I can't invest in a date. I can't invest in a babysitter. Can you invest in McDonald's? Did you find the $20 for that new pair of shoes you wanted? So when you really want something, you will figure it out. You will make it happen. It is the same thing with dating. If you really want marriage, if you really want your boo, if you really want your forever man, you will figure it out. You will find a way to make it happen. So those are all the little, BS things, so to speak. So now let's get to the real nitty gritty, right? And that is, what is really blocking us as single moms from having what it is that we really want in life? And that is a forever mate. The man who's going to come in, he's going to accept our children. He's going to be a father to them. He's going to, we're going to build this amazing, life together. All these great things, these fairy tales that we have in our head. What is really blocking us? You are. You are blocking you from having the man of your dreams. You are. I know that was a lot. I know that just like stung and it touched a little bit, but you are blocking you from the man of your dreams. And how do I know this? Number one, I was blocking me from the man of my dreams, right? Like, so number one, I lived it. I know what I'm talking about because I was with you. I was doing it too. But honestly, we don't even know who we are. We have not unpacked all of the BS that we have gone through in our lives. We have not dealt with the pain, the heartache, the brokenness that we've experienced. We haven't dealt with any of this. So now, how do you expect to have something amazing? How do you expect to have forever? How do you expect to build the most beautiful relationship of your life? And you haven't even dealt with you. You are the only thing standing in the way of your forever. You are the only thing standing in the way of that amazing man who's going to sweep you off your feet. You. Just you. And I share this a lot of times with women, and they're like, you don't understand. It's not like that. No, it is like that. I guarantee you. Any woman can come on here right now and you can tell me, why it's so hard for you today, what issues you're having, the type of men you're meeting, and I'm going to tell you unequivocally, 100% of the time, you are the problem. And check this. You are not the reason why he's a douchebag. You are not the reason why he is flaky. You are not the reason why he is a cheater. But you are the reason why you're attracting him. You are. Yeah, you. You are what you attract. And I know that stung. Like, it stung me when I finally accepted it. Because we don't pay attention to what we're actually putting out into the atmosphere. So many times I meet women and they're like, I want to start a business. I want an amazing husband, and I just can't seem to make it happen. And I ask them, well, what do you talk about 95% of the day? They talk about how broke they are. They talk about how they don't have money for this or that. They talk about how they can't do something. They talk about how they can't find something. They talk like men. They talk about how there are no good men, such and such. Well, then what do you expect to be attracted to you but everything you talk about, which is all the stuff you say you don't want? So why are you talking about it? Why are you not putting into your spirit? Why are you not putting into the atmosphere all that you want? I want a successful, thriving business. I want to make $5,000 a month without even having to build up a sweat without even having to think about it. That's what I'm focused on every day. Every day I wake up like that is my reality. Every day I wake up and I do what I would have to do if that was my reality. I'm living in that today. And, Pastor John Gray had said a little while ago, and everybody got in an uproar when he said, you got to be a wife before you get the ring. And people are like, what? How do you do it? You got to walk in that wife thing. Being a wife doesn't start when he puts the ring on your finger and you walk down the aisle and you say, I do. Being a wife is a character trait. Being a wife is your personality, right? And if you're not willing to become that, then it ain't going to happen. And if you're so focused on all the things that you don't want, all of the bad things, that's what you are going to continue to receive. And I guarantee you, 95% of you that are having trouble finding the man of your dreams, finding forever, it is because you haven't dealt with you. You haven't dealt with your past. You haven't dealt with your heartbreak. You haven't dealt with your brokenness. You haven't dealt with who you are. And if you don't deal with those things, then you cannot move forward and deal with something else. It's like people make, I've seen memes about broken men. He's going to continue to break every woman that he comes across until he heals. It's the same thing about broken women. We're going to continue to break every soul, spirit, person that we come across until we heal. Kia said I could be right. Girl, if you don't knock it off. But I'm just being honest with y'all. Let's unpack this thing. Let's deal with this thing, right? And so I always like to keep it transparent, and I like to talk about myself. So when I had my third child, I was like, oh, this is it. Like, nobody's going to ever want me. Who wants three kids and 3 baby daddies? Like, I am such like damaged goods. That is literally how I thought about myself. I am damaged goods. Because that is how I thought about myself, let me tell you what I attracted. I attracted domestic violence. I attracted situationships. I attracted friends with benefits who was benefits and not friends. I attracted people who were using me, people who saw me as damaged goods, people who felt like I wasn't worth anything else but a little bit of sex on the side. Like, that's exactly what I attracted. And I was so needy and so wanting and so, I can't even think of the word. Y'all know the word I'm trying to say, but y'all understand what I'm saying. Like, I was pathetic. Like, I was pathetic. And that is what I attracted. More patheticness. Like, and that's just the truth of the matter. And until I dealt with me, not dealt with them, not held somebody accountable for how they were treating me, not dealt with the man who tried to kill me in my domestic violence relationship, not dealt with the man who, it was okay to have sex with me, but it wasn't okay to date me. It wasn't okay to wife me, not dealing with them. But not until I dealt with me did anything change. Literally, nothing changed until I dealt with me. And then let me tell you how this process happened, right? I started dealing with me. I started working on me. And I attracted a man who presented on the outside like everything I wanted, right? He presented like the golden nugget, the golden key. He was buying me clothes. He was buying me shoes. Many of you who are my personal Facebook friends, like you witnessed, he bought me 3 dozen roses just because. 3 dozen roses. That bouquet was huge. It was beautiful. Ooh, I felt so loved and special. I was like, I'm finally attracting the man that I've always wanted. That's what I was saying to myself. Right? And, I was like, oh, we're going to get married. And, let me tell you, I told him, 1 year we got to get married in a year. And he was like, yeah, we're going to get married in 1 year's time, and we were blending our little family together. I was dealing with his baby mama drama. We was living together. He was, being a great parent to my kids. He was providing, he was putting money into the household. He made more money than me. So he was definitely, taking care of things that I normally couldn't take care of. We were doing things with my mom, just a whole little family get up. But I hadn't really dealt with some of my core issues. I dealt with my surface issues. So I got a man who on the surface looks great. I'm going to say that again. I hadn't dealt with my core issues. I dealt with my surface issues. So I attracted a man who on the surface was great. But at the core, we was talking about something else. We're talking about a man who was just cheating with any and everybody. A man who was using the fact that we were in a relationship to cheat. A man who was off cheating on Mother's Day and couldn't even wish me a happy Mother's Day. But here I am being a stepmom to your kids and a mom to my kids every day. But I'm not mad at him. I'm not bitter with him. I don't distrust men because of him. I distrust me. Because, see, I jumped the gun. I felt like, oh, I'm dealing with this surface stuff, and I got this surface cleaned up, and this surface is looking better. And so when somebody presented, I still didn't know to check the Carfax, check the inside, check what was really going on. And I think that's where most of us get caught up, right? Because we go, it looks good, so it must be good. Girl, bye. Half the stuff that look good ain't good. We can talk about food. I can tell you some food that look great. Donuts look great. They even taste great. But they ain't good for us. We can't sit up and eat donuts for a living. Like, it just doesn't work. And that's exactly what we are doing when it comes to our relationships. That is why it is so hard to date as a single mom. What I feel a lot of times what happens is when we become single moms, we go, I've got to make better choices because I've got this kid, right? And I can't just have any and everybody around my kid. I got to have somebody around my kid who's a good example, somebody who's going to love them, somebody who's going to step in and be somewhat of a father figure to them. This is our thought process, and it's a great thought process. But what happens is we start to just look at the surface. Or we cut everybody off because nobody's going to be good enough like ever. What does that do for us? Like, how do we, like, if that's the case, then we ain't good enough for our kids and we should cut ourselves off too. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So we get so caught up in them that we totally don't pay attention to who we are. The number one thing I do with all my coaching clients, and there's 1.5, we're going to put it like that. There's 1.5 on this feed, and I'm sure they can attest to what I'm about to say. The number one thing I do with all my coaching clients is, who are you? Tell me who you are. I actually make them get a journal and write it down. Write down, who are you? What makes you the awesome, badass, can't nobody touch you, you are the greatest ever person you are? And then after you write all that, tell me what you do that's opposite of what you say. Because that's where we start to see who we really are, right? Because I would say that I'm giving. Like, I will give freely. I will give everything. I will give you my last dime. I will give you my whole house. I will give you everything, right? Because I'm a giver. That's not a giver. That's somebody who is just getting used and abused. And that's what was happening in my life. I was getting used and abused. A giver is someone who gives from their surplus. Someone who gives the extra. Someone who knows when to give and what to give. See, so I had to take my giving spirit and do some work on it and transform it to making it work for my good. Right? And so now when I give to somebody, and I still give freely, but I give what I know that I can give. And I give what I know that I'm supposed to give and what I'm led to give. Right? And everything is different. I'm not sitting around talking about, oh my gosh, like I don't have no money to feed these kids, but I'm over here giving you $20. Like, that just doesn't make sense. And it's the same thing when it comes to dating and when it comes to our love life. Like, we have no idea who we are, so we don't know why we are attracting certain things. Hey, Latrice, thanks for that. I appreciate that. She said, this is good. Cindy said, yep, we have to figure out who we are in order to see where we need to make changes. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So after I let him go, right, and I'm jumping back to my story a little bit. After I let him go, I got serious about working on me. I got with my mentors, I got with my coaches, and I was doing the self-work and that I needed to do for me. And here's what a lot of us do. A lot of us think, oh, well, I can do it by myself. If you could do it by yourself, why haven't you done it? Kia said, that's what I need to know, why I'm attracting the same type. It's something in you. There is something in you that is attracting this type. And usually it's not until we really sit down with someone else that they can begin to pull things out of us and offer us a different perspective do we get to start to see it, right? I can tell you that I had daddy issues. Like, you know, my dad, I knew who he was, but he wasn't super involved in my life. So he was like there, but not there. And so people would say, oh, the reason why, you know, like I was dating all these men, or the reason why I was quick to fall in love is because I had daddy issues. And that's true. But what was my daddy issue that was making me attracted to this man specifically, this type of man specifically? And I had to unpack. For me, my daddy issue was that I idolized him as, you know, this great man who was just unavailable to me. So what was I dating? Men that I thought were great men that were unavailable to me. They were emotionally unavailable to me. They were financially unavailable to me. They were spiritually unavailable to me. Right? And I'm just keeping it real with you guys. Like, these are the type of issues I had to unpack. I didn't see myself as beautiful. No matter how many times I said, like, I'm pretty. No matter how many times I, you know, whip my hair back and forth because I thought I was, you know, fly with my hair done. I didn't think I was beautiful. So I was attracting men who, you know, oh, she got a little fat booty. She got a little donka-donk. But they didn't see my beauty. They didn't see how much I was really worth. They didn't see how amazing I was. They just saw, you know, she got a little donka-donk. She got some hair. That's all they saw. They didn't see my beauty, because my beauty has nothing to do with my hair, my face, my butt, my body type. My beauty is from the inside. My inner beauty is what makes all the difference in the world, what separates me from you. But I didn't see that. So I wasn't attracting men who saw that. And that's just the truth. And so the more I did the work, and the more I worked on myself, and the more I allowed other people to point things out in me, the more I allowed other people to offer me a different perspective on myself and my life. And let me tell you, my mama couldn't do it. Because I was just, look, lady, don't you tell me nothing about me. Right? Like that. I just had this wall up when it came to my mom, which I think most of us have some type of wall up when it comes to our parents. It's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Friends who had been friends forever, they were just like, you're amazing. There's nothing wrong with you. Like, they were just blowing hot smoke up my ass. Like, if we're just going to keep it real. Because they just loved me unconditionally. So they couldn't give me the hard truth. So I had to get help. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I know that there is a woman right now watching this, and she's like, I mean, I don't feel like I want to get help. I didn't want to get help. I didn't want nobody in my mess. I didn't want nobody knowing my dirt. I didn't want nobody looking at me naked and uncovered. And I don't mean naked literally. I mean really spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally naked. Because when somebody sees you at your most vulnerable, we think they have now the power to abuse us. They have the power to hurt us even more. So we've got to, stay clothed. We keep our wall up so that nobody can get that deep. But if you want to make a real change, somebody's got to get that deep. They got to get in there and shovel some stuff out. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. And so as I began to do the work on me, I got clear on who I needed because of who I was. See, and this is just a little tidbit that I realized much later. I was not dating men that I would go like, oh my gosh, he's so attractive, right? Like, I was not googling, goggling, and oogling over the men I dated because I didn't think that I was worth what I saw as the true definition of beauty for a man, for me, right? I wasn't dating that because I didn't think I was worth it. But then when I worked on me and I got clear on who I was, let me tell you, my self-worth went through the roof. What I saw in me, you ain't got enough money to buy. You can't even pay for this if you wanted to. So when I began to see myself differently, I began to attract differently. I began to attract things that I was not attracting before, or I was not willing to let in before, right? And I got clear on, for me, I needed somebody who was going to call me higher. And in order to call Jennifer higher, like I'm just telling you guys about me. In order for somebody to call me higher, they got to get real brutally honest. They got to call that thing out when they see that thing. Like, so when you going to stop being lazy? So when you going to be as great as you say you are? Right? Like, that's the type of man I needed in my life. That's the type of man that works for me, you know. And I always say I needed somebody to love me and talk to me and care for me the way God loves me and talks to me and cares for me. I needed God on earth. That's what I needed. I needed my daddy. So to say that you are marrying your daddy, it's not a bad thing if you are aware of who your daddy really is and what your daddy really is and what you really need from your daddy. Right? And not just this man who gave out the sperm to make me, or this man who raised me. Right? So when I unpacked these things, I was confronted with a man who literally was checking off every box on my to-do list. Every box on my, you gotta have this, you gotta have that, you gotta talk like this, you gotta be like this, you gotta look like this. Here I am checking off every box. And I had moments of like, okay, this can't be real because, I mean, I'm a single mama 3 with 3 baby daddies. Like, could this really be happening? But it really happened. Not only am I married to an amazing man who calls me higher, who pushes me on to greatness, who is in the trenches with me every day, day in and day out with my kids, with my business, with my life. Right? Not only do I have that, but I have a man that I find physically attractive. I have a man who sees my worth higher than I see my own worth. And if you know me and if you see my transition, I think I'm pretty awesome. I'm pretty worthy. You know what I'm saying? But here's a man who sees more than that in me. Here's a man whose number one challenge for me was for me to love me more than I ever loved him. I was like, I don't understand, because everybody I've ever known wanted me to love them more than anything. And he's like, no, you love you the most, because when you love you the most, I get the best out of you. And so I'm sharing this with you to say dating as a single mom is literally no different than dating as a single woman. The difference is you got a bigger wall up. You definitely are. Oh, thank you, Kiki. The difference is that you've got a wall up. That's it. And you probably needed the wall as a single woman, and you probably could have avoided becoming a single mom. That's just the truth of the matter. Like, that's just the truth of the matter, is you need to work on you. If you want to find the most amazing man in this universe that you see, right? Because it's not about what I see or what he sees or what she sees or, you know, anybody else sees. It's about what you see. If you want to find the most amazing man in the universe for you, work on you. Change who you are. Deal with your past, your hurt, your pain, your brokenness. Unpack your ish. Grow through what you've gone through. Learn your lessons. I guarantee you, without a doubt, you do that and you will find him. You will find him. 100% guaranteed. I found him being celibate, which they said I couldn't do because I already had kids, so you can't be celibate. We were celibate. I found him after having 3 kids when people said that my stock market value had significantly decreased and I'd never find another man ever again. Found one. I found him after people said, wouldn't nobody want you and you ain't, you've been through too much and you're too broken. I have been working on me 24/7. I have doing things differently and I see things clearer. Exactly. Like the clarity that comes from when you work on you, when you deal with you, is what you need. And I can't say this enough, and I can't say this, I have to say this over and over and over again, because I know that so many of us are struggling with, all I find are men that are like this, men are liars, men are cheaters, men hurt me, men come in and they promise me the world and then they leave me with this baby. Boo, you did that to you. Because you did not take enough love and care for yourself before you made those decisions. I caused myself to be a single mother of 3 with 3 baby daddies. I did that to me. No one else. Me. And it's time for us to take responsibility and accountability for our own lives and make a change. Right? I just made a post this earlier and I said, you're mad because he's leaving you with this baby that you guys planned on, but you weren't mad when he wasn't willing to commit to you forever, marry you, before having a baby. You set yourself up for failure. And people say, men can marry you and still leave you with the baby and all this stuff. There were signs before you ever married him. There's a difference between who you marry and who you should marry. I know, because I'm divorced once. It's a difference. And the reason why you are making these mistakes, the reason why you are finding yourself in these situations is because you do not love you. You do not put you first. You do not even know who you are. You have not unpacked your bags and your mess and dealt with you. You have refused to heal. You have refused to be better. You have refused, and you are waiting for someone else to do it for you. It's not going to happen. The prince on the white horse, he ain't coming. Everybody's talking about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. They said that you can't get married after divorce, and look at her. Do you think that's because Prince Harry is a prince? No. That's because she worked on herself. She changed her life to meet her prince in shining armor. Harry changed his life. Like, we've seen Harry dramatically change from like the rebel kid and the kid who, walking around in the Nazi jacket for a party to this man who serves freely, who gives, who's so much more like his mother than he ever was. He's still sticking his tongue out, but that's cool. He about that life. And so I'm just wanting to encourage all of the single mothers listening. You can have forever, and it does not have to be hard. It does not have to be a mountain that you have to climb. You do not have to have another baby by yourself before you get there. You don't have to be like me. If you only have one, you don't have to have 3. You don't have to get your heart broken anymore. I'm here to dispel the lies, the myths, the BS that is spread. It does not have to happen, but you've got to do something. You've got to work on you. So I really want to encourage all of you single mothers that are listening. If you are ready to do the work, if you are ready to change you, if you are ready to find your forever, your happy ending, your prince in shining armor, let's do the work. If you would like to have a consultation with me to see if we are a good fit, if I can help you, if I can offer you a different perspective, some great life coaching, some helping you unpack some bags, then click the link above and let's make some things happen, or below, depending. Let's make some things happen. But if it's not me, that's great. Find someone who will help you get to the place that you need to be in. Find someone who will help you unpack those bags and reconnect with who you are. You deserve it. You are worth it. You are really amazing. It's time you believed it too. I just wanted to share that quick message with you guys today for Thrive Time. Please join me every Tuesday and Thursday via Facebook Live at Miss Jennifer Pink for Thrive Time. And you can always catch the replays on my YouTube channel, on my blog, everywhere, right? So until next time, make sure you share this with any of your single moms that you feel may need it. Feel free to tag them. We love seeing tags. Feel free to comment even if you're watching the replay, because I will come back and talk to you. Like, I love talking to you. That's my job. Like, I'm a life coach. I talk to people. But until next time, I wish you love, peace, and baby powder freshness as always. Mwah. Bye-bye.